As we heard from your own testimonies, SBIR has a record for funding cutting-edge research and spurring innovation. Companies that got their start through SBIR now employ thousands of individuals. I would like to hear from any of the members of the panel. How can we strengthen the program's ability to create new jobs? Let's start with Mr. Brown.
Again, since the program is currently up for reauthorization, and again, we're all familiar with the fine work of your committee as well as what's taken place on the Senate side. In addition to the evaluation by the National Academy of Science study, the current administration is looking at what's on the table now, and they're considering what alternatives that we should consider and what will be the best practices as we move forward. And again, as I'm sure you realized, you know, our administrator has only been there for a few short weeks, and we have a lot of work ahead of us, and we're looking forward to working with her. But again, we haven't had a chance to address that issue.
Mr. Cosciuto? Anyway, there is, the program is going to be up for reauthorization. So based on your experience, how can we strengthen it so that we could create more jobs?
Well, Madam Chairwoman, I think the first thing I would focus on is what many of us believe is the strength of this program, which is its inherent flexibility in how it's implemented among the various agencies that participate. Giving the managers of the program at the agencies the greatest degree of freedom in the execution of the program in order to produce outcomes, I think, is the foremost thought that comes to mind for me if I was to give some sort of guiding observation relative to my experience with the program.
Ms. Goodnight?
I just want to thank you for that question, especially given our downturn in applications. And so we appreciate the need to incentivize companies in participating in this program. And as I mentioned, we don't know all the reasons. It could be as simple as the economic downturn in the biotech sector. But we actually believe there are other issues related to the current eligibility rules, certain aspects of the program structure. For example, companies currently who receive a Phase 1 SBIR cannot move to a Phase 2 STTR, and vice versa. Companies who receive a Phase 1 STTR, where they may not need the university involvement at such the requisite level, can't transition to a Phase 2 SBIR. So there isn't an ability to transition between the two programs. The award levels have not been adjusted since 1992.
Yeah, I'm going to touch on that later. Yeah. So let me refer this question to you, Ms. Goodnight. In 2005, then NIH Director Mr. Zerhouni wrote in a letter to SBA that NIH aims to ensure that small business concerns with substantial venture capital company support in the biotechnology and public health R&D arena are able to receive SBIR awards from NIH. Why does a firm access to venture capital have such significant impact on the work that NIH does?
Because many of the projects that we're funding, particularly in drug discovery, drug development, even developing medical devices, those types of companies, in order to be successful, are going to have to attract additional investments, be it through venture capital or raising funding even with strategic partners. And in order for those projects to make it to the marketplace, they're not going to be able to go it alone and are going to look for those infusions of investment. Those same companies have other ideas in the pipeline, and they need to do that because many of these projects are going to fail. That's the I in the SBIR program. And so in order for us to be continually churning that innovation life cycle engine, the issue that we're facing now is companies who can take a lead product or drug molecule to a certain stage, who then may have other ideas that would be very fitting for SBIR, can't get the funding there, nor can they get it elsewhere.
Okay. NHA awards multiple Phase 2 grants to small firms in order to help prepare the most promising research projects for commercialization. Of course, larger awards means fewer awards. Some have suggested that such a pattern leads to lower quality research and poorer results. How would you respond to that?
I would ask you to repeat the second part of the issue. Yes, we do provide larger awards when the science justifies the deviating from the $100,000 or $750,000.
And if we provide larger awards, that means that there's going to be fewer awards to give to other applicants. So some have suggested that such a pattern leads to lower quality research and poorer results.
I think that if companies are only submitting their mediocre ideas, I could understand where perhaps that concern is coming from. There are projects that are, in the $150,000 to $200,000 range that are just as important as those that are in the higher level range. And so I don't know, I can't really answer that concern.
Okay.